Hi, everyone. This is Linda McHenry, and I'm here with my guest, Matt Medeiros, today. He helps clients in the content marketing realm, from blogging to podcasting, all the way to email capture, automation, and social media. Matt can advise and assist you with anything that helps build your brand effectively. You can find him online at craftedbymatt.com and on Twitter at Matt Medeiros. Welcome, Matt.
Linda, it's a pleasure to be here.
As always, right?
As always.
So what Matt is going to do today is he's going to share some information with you folks. I mean, insurance agents are always looking for ways to help build their brand, help build their reputation, build a following. And that's basically what Matt does. And let's talk about relationship first, Matt, if you don't mind, because I kind of think we both agree that that's the foundation of what people want to do.
100%. I mean, as crazy as it seems, the internet was now more obvious than ever, right? In the COVID world, that relationship building is still super important. And there are means, just like this podcast or just like a YouTube channel or a Facebook Live event, which are extremely popular right now. It's extremely popular right now. It's all a form of relationship building. And I know the world of sort of traditional networking, traditional business, it's handshakes, a mixer, an event mixer that you go to, or some in-person thing. And boy, that's going to drastically change, and how we engage in those settings upcoming. So tons of opportunity, but engaging in building a relationship, referral-based business is massive. It's a massive opportunity.
I agree. And the thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize how important relationship is, or that relationships can change over time. You can start out and meet somebody and think, well, gee, there's no way possible I'm ever going to do business with them. And your life changes, or the economy changes, or something changes, and you find yourself seeing that person all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And, one of the things, like we were chatting before the show started recording, and, obviously we've known each other for 21 years, I think. 20 years,
something like
roughly,
that. Yeah, a long time.
I don't know. But I mean, many different scenarios across our life so far. And, look, like we said, like we're recording together now. We've done business together, and you just never know where it's going to take you for, in terms of like social media. And I might be skipping ahead here, so just stop me.
Let's go ahead. No. Talk whatever you want. You're the guest.
What I see as somebody who evaluates, storytelling and content that people put out, I see huge opportunities for people to have to become more, I don't know if the word's vulnerable, but transparent, right? I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of maybe insurance agents or anyone who has a traditional in-person business. I think I see most people struggle with putting out this sort of story, the content, being who they really are online. And what do I mean by that? Like, I've been watching a lot of local banks recently, right? During this crisis, financial institutions. And I see this increase in social media and this increase in trying to connect with people, which is great that the effort is there. The problem is the content that's coming out. It's clip art. It's clip art. It's stock photos, right? I don't want to, if I were advising them, I would say, no. We need to build the relationship by being more honest, more true. Who are the people behind the brand? And that's what's going to be most effective, right? For social media, for building a business, for getting more referrals, building the relationships, right? And we have all the means necessary to do this stuff. We're quite literally locked inside of our homes. so people will watch, right? And they will engage with content. You just have to, and by you, I mean, maybe the person listening and the people who are thinking about putting together a strategy, you just have to sort of break through that mold and say, yeah, I'm okay with being transparent, putting my story out there, and hitting publish on a podcast.
One of the things, if I can interrupt, I think what you're saying, and this is how I would translate it, is to being open. I know me with my background in sales. If you want somebody to open up to you, the best way to accomplish that is to open up to them, because people feel more comfortable with others who are just like them. And why is somebody going to open up to you if they have this sense that you're keeping secrets, that you have a whole life that you're not sharing? And people have instincts, and they know authentic people, and they know when someone's being genuine. So I think that is that kind of what you're talking about, going
Yeah,
it
I
the
mean,
same way?
if you looked historically at why people don't like salespeople, why people don't like getting into sales, is because for hundreds of years, the salesman has built a reputation, because the whole thing you said, well, don't keep a secret. That's how sales was built, right? Because
Oh yeah.
people didn't have access to research competitors, research other solutions, learn how to do it themselves. And for, up until consumer internet really hit, that was the salesperson's job, is to reserve those secrets, know how their product is built, know what the cost was, and know what their competitors were doing. And that's how sales was done.
It
And it
was a big
wasn't
mystery, and I
right. It
know
was
more than you do, so you need to trust me.
right.
And
Exactly. And then
nowadays, no one trusts you unless they can see why they should.
100%. Right. So you obviously, Linda, that I grew up in the car business. So,
Uh-huh.
back in the day, in like the mid to late 90s, that's when the consumer internet started to evolve and come around. But even in that transition point, you'd have people coming into the dealership with a book. They used to be called the NADA,
Mm-hmm.
Consumer's Guide, or Automobile Guide. I forget what the title
They
was.
still use it.
Yeah, they still use it. So they come in and they have the sheets, everything circled that they were looking for. And then the consumer internet came around, and now the buyer came in much more informed, because they could just sit at their computer and ask a dozen other people what their best price was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a superior challenge for car shopping, and for the whole every industry at large. And now, like I like to say, is our reputation, or I like to refer to it as our digital handshake, because we're doing a lot of this stuff digitally. We're creating content,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing we have left, right? If you're a small mom and pop store, especially these days, you're looking at like what Amazon is doing as a company, as a whole. Amazon doesn't care about the consumer as the mom and pop shop down the street does, right? They've built the relationship. They own that relationship, and they can own that relationship, but they're in the face of giants. And it's an interesting, conundrum that we're in with COVID, and looking at big business and looking at the little person and saying, how can we support them? But we're tied to these big enterprises. This is going to reshape everything, and relationships at the forefront, in my opinion.
I think you're right. And one of the things, it's funny, because my last week's podcast was all about price. And I said in that podcast, the person who mentions price first loses control of the negotiation. Price is important in the absence of other stuff. If you have truth and honesty and relationship, okay, you don't need to talk about price. And I think another thing too is me being a teacher, an instructor, because I know about the product I sell, just like you know about the product you sell. If we can share that knowledge and we can educate people, and again, you share it with them so that they acquire knowledge and they grow, that I think is more important to them than price. So tell me what insurance agents should be doing, okay, to share themselves and to be honest and to be open, and to have their digital handshake equal their real handshake on their website and their blog and their social media. Tell me some of the things you see that they shouldn't do, and then some of the things they should do.
Yeah. So what people should not do is sort of take this copycat, because this is like the number one thing. Take this copycat, hope for a blueprint approach, right? There's a lot of great people out there who teach a lot of great concepts and a lot of great frameworks, but people just take that as, well, I'll just follow these steps exactly, and I should get more leads, or I should talk to more people because I'm just going to follow this, or I'm going to see what somebody else is doing, and I'm going to copy that person to a T and just do the same thing. It just doesn't work that way, right? The creativeness inside of you, your personality, your unique way of dealing with customers or framing insurance, that stuff should really shine through. So don't think that you have to just do one thing one way or copy somebody else and that's just going to work. I'm a huge proponent on content marketing. And in my world, I only see driving traffic to your website or to your business online in only two ways: content marketing or paying for ads, right? Both are effective. One takes longer than the other, but one costs less dollars than the other in the long term, right? Content marketing is about putting out any pieces of content you possibly can. So these are the things that you should be doing. Well, you might want to start thinking about doing a podcast. And I say the word podcast and people immediately freak out. Brains start to melt. They don't understand. What is this technical thing? The word is foolish, right? It's like the word blogging. Like, who invented the word blogging? It just sounds ridiculous. But podcasting can come in many forms. Come in like what we're doing right now: a little bit of video, a little bit of audio, and then you use that as a platform. But I say, create some kind of storytelling with maybe Instagram stories for a minute or two, Facebook Live for 15, 20 minutes. It's not about just podcasting, but about broadcasting your message and your story, especially now, right? Especially now, because you don't want to be lost in this sort of insanity that we're in right now. You don't want to be forgotten.
That's it for part 1 of my interview with Matt Medeiros. Check back later this week when Matt continues his discussion of content marketing in part 2. To hear the entire interview, which aired on my podcast on May 5th, 2020, visit my website at lindamchenry.com.